Where you going with this? Who you controlling with this? You think you got some nerve? Boy, say word. Cause I'm flowing with this. I think I'm growing with this. I think you knowing with this. I'm gonna show 'em with this. Hey, you guys, you are now tuned into Trusted Transformation Station with your girl Taisha P. This is a podcast style video where I talk to you about my insights as a creative, and I just want to share my story, share anything that if you're an artist, writer, musician, fashion designer, photographer, anything in the creative space where you can take a bit of inspiration and motivation from what I share, please do. So, what was on my mind today? Really channeling, that creative energy. I thought to myself, it's sometimes okay to gatekeep. I think that a lot of people villainize gatekeeping, but I think sometimes as a creative, it is essential that you gatekeep. And I'll tell you why. I think it's important to gatekeep your plans, your true goals and dreams, your vision when it comes to your moves. Not because you don't want to tell people, not because you don't think, people would benefit from knowing what you have going on. But a lot of times I find that when we share prematurely, and that is the key word as well, prematurely, because at some point as a creative, if you want your art to be received, if you want your art to reach your target market, your audience, the people that are looking for what you have to offer, you do have to share it. So you're not gatekeeping forever, or you're not gatekeeping everything. But it's important to have some level of restriction to yourself at times and your creation so that they can cultivate. A lot of times when we share prematurely, we get told all the ways our vision won't work, all the ways our vision don't make sense. We get convinced in different ways to try this out, and people project onto us sometimes what they feel like our vision will look better if we do this other thing. Or maybe even they just completely say, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be doing this because this is what I see for you in your destiny. And those are those are statements that will make you question yourself. Those are statements that will make you question your art, that will make you want to turn away from your art. And you should never do that if you feel like you were set on this earth to do that thing. If God has implanted a vision within you that you feel is, so curated to your being, something that is running through your veins, something that you can breathe life into and you feel good about it, something that makes you smile, something that uplifts you, something that really allows you to express in a very exciting, just inspired way. I would never stop doing that. And a lot of times as creatives, when we're having conversations, for instance, with people that are focused on being super logical, for instance, and their work is about computations and numbers and computing things, they're not gonna understand sometimes why you need to relax for 3-4 days to get inspired, because everything with them is so calculated. Everything with them is so, I just have to plug in these numbers and I get the result, or I have to plug in these actions and I get this result. But as a creative, it doesn't work like that. Yes, you have to plug in actions. Like, for instance, the artist does have to pick up the pencil and paper and start to move it across the paper and create a design or a line or whatever they're inspired to do at that moment, to then produce a piece of artwork, of course. But at the end of the day, a lot of times that doesn't just come from, okay, I pick up 2 pencils, I pick up 4 sheets of paper, and then I make 6 artworks. I'm making that up. But you get the drift. Like, that's not how creatives work. Creatives, a lot of time, we look at our environment and we see what's within our world. We listen to music, or we go on a walk, or we have a conversation, or we watch a movie, and then your mind just starts to go crazy with all these ideas, and then you express. So understanding that gatekeeping is a form of keeping yourself sane as a creative, because sometimes you're gonna accidentally leak your ideas, leak your vision, leak your dreams to people that just won't get it, and you'll fight tooth and nail to try to explain it to them. You'll fight to try to be understood by people that are committed to misunderstanding you, and that is pointless. I remember in different points in my life, people talking to me about what I said my dreams and goals were. And quite frankly, I don't know anybody personally that does what I do. I'm an artist, I'm a writer, I am a content strategist. Now, I know a bunch of artists, I will say, but even within that, they do different types of art than me. I know writers as well, but some of them are poets. Some of them are, you know, and just different, elements of the same thing. But I don't know anyone that's an artist slash blogger that also works in marketing like myself. I don't know anybody like that. And so sometimes when I try to explain my vision to a person that doesn't understand how you can have all these different working pieces moving at the same time and, be efficient at anything, they will see it as you're just all over the place. You don't have any direction. You don't know what you're doing. And in so many words, people have hinted at that, or just flat out kind of said that to me, and has said to me, I've had a conversation in the past of, you need to go get a job with a pension. That's the type of job you need. And I'm like, what kind of job is that? Like, I'm not about to go be nobody's police officer. No, ma'am. I'm not interested. Like, absolutely not. I will never put my life in the line of fire, for one, for this country, but for two, for something that I'm not passionate about. Like, I have no desire to do that whatsoever. And the more I get older and the more I learn about how people are really using their creative gifts to create lanes for themselves. Like, granted, not everybody is going to be Beyonce, Jay-Z, Drake, these people that are astronomically talented and have literally become Rihanna, money printers in the way that they are. Not everybody's going to become that. And that's not my dream, because that comes with a lot of sacrifice. Like, an insane amount of sacrifice that I personally can't picture for myself. I love my privacy. I love being able to live a regular life, and regular in the sense of paparazzi not being in my face and my business being in the street on a gossip blog. I do enjoy not having to worry about those pressures. But I do want to still be able to say, I am my own money printer, where Through my talents, actions, gifts that God has implanted within me, I have created a lane for myself that cannot be taken from me. So many people have to go through the corporate world, and technically I'm a part of the corporate world currently, but my job is so creative in nature that it almost doesn't even feel like it, which I enjoy. It doesn't feel like work at times because I'm not doing anything that is hard labor. I'm not doing anything that makes me feel out of alignment with my gifts and skills. I'm doing something that I'm actually really good at and I enjoy, and that I would want to keep doing and just only get better at it and find new ways to continue expanding within it, as opposed to trying to worry about financial security so much that I step out of alignment with myself just for the sake of saying I secured a bag that at any moment can be taken from me. And taken from me in the sense of, God forbid I get injured. God forbid, I face some extremely traumatic event. With this job, I don't have to deal with that. And so I know that this is where I belong. And in a sense, I've learned to gatekeep what I want to do and just let my actions speak when it's time, as opposed to try to convince people that what I'm doing is right, that what I'm doing is good, that what I'm doing is something that people need to understand in order for me to take action. They don't. And a lot of people aren't willing to really do that, willing to be relentless in what they want to achieve and aspire to be, to the point where they'll be quiet about it and they'll establish a strong foundation before they take action and before they really see it bloom. Don't look for the validation. Don't look for people to confirm that what you're doing is the right thing, because a lot of times they won't. A lot of times they will not. And you have to still keep going, because at the end of the day, you have so much to offer as a creative to an audience that wants to receive it and that will support you and that does find you inspiring and motivating and that does love everything that you give. So don't stop giving. Gatekeep until it's time to release. Gatekeep until you're comfortable enough with your finished product and put it out there. That's the season I'm in. I'm in a season right now where I'm like, I am gatekeeping myself because I have a mission. And if you're not on my mission, you're not going to understand it. So rather than trying to seek validation from you every step of the way as I take action, no, I'm going to sit in my lab. I'm going to sit in my lair. I'm going to sit in my office, my creative zen, my studio, and I'm going to create. I'm going to cultivate. I'm going to work diligently. I'm going to show you that I mean business through my actions. I'm going to inspire my collective. I'm going to speak truth to power. I'm going to make my presence be known through my art. Gatekeeping keeps that purity of the art until it's ready to be birthed into the universe. People don't respect just word salad. And that's why gatekeeping allows you not even to give word salad. When you got the actions and the results to back it up, you don't got to worry about nothing else. You don't got to worry about anything else. Show up for yourself. Show up for your life. Show up for your future. Show up for your expansion. Show up for the people that want to see you. But be okay with gatekeeping before you can do that if you really need to. Your actions right now, when you're in a gatekeeping season, a solitude season, are going to make it possible for you to be consistent when it's time to put yourself out there in a real way. I've had to take time out for a while now. And every now and again, I do this with my brand. I'm not going to lie. And I listened to this creator recently. She is definitely an inspiration to me. She's super awesome. Her name is Nija Sim. She's a smaller creator. She doesn't have, 1,000,001 followers, but she talks about dream life creation. And I think that it's so awesome to see Black women really emphasizing how much power we have within our being to cultivate and to create, and it being more than just creating families and things of that nature, but literally we have the art of creation within our literal being. And yesterday I listened to a podcast episode of hers. I think it's called the Create Yourself podcast on YouTube. And she shared how being avoidant, and that's something I relate to a lot, but being avoidant is robbing you of your future self. And in me tying that message into the gatekeeping conversation, don't confuse keeping your dreams to yourself as gatekeeping. And in the way that I'm speaking about it, don't confuse not doing the work, aka being avoidant, as gatekeeping. With gatekeeping, in the way that I'm using it in this context, I'm saying be okay with being quiet for the external world if you need to, so that you can listen to your own self and you can hear your own desires, so that you can let your heart lead, so that you can let your art be a representation of the world that you have cultivated within yourself, and then put it out there to be received by your audience. Don't avoid the work and call it gatekeeping. Don't say I'm going to do it tomorrow and call it gatekeeping. It's not the same thing. Be okay with taking time to truly listen within, but don't make it be something where you get now frozen in place and you don't do what you have to do because you're so fixated and worried about what everybody and anybody has to say, so you don't take action. Your future self depends on you to trust that what you're doing right now is worth it, is important, is necessary, is needed, is desirable, is special, is unique. But we don't want to stay stuck in the closet. We don't want to stay stuck in hiding. We don't want to stay stuck in isolation. We want to make ourselves be open and available for the opportunities that are rightfully ours, because we're putting ourselves in position. It's all about positioning. It's all about understanding the state of being that you're in and creating from that place without distractions, without negative energies, without anybody that isn't going to resonate, messing up the vibration, messing up the vibe of what you're trying to cultivate within yourself, messing up your art, and causing you to take a step back from what you know you have been called to do. So many people would rather you shrink and be a smaller version of yourself. And if you want to fool them for a little bit on the outside looking in, give them that vibe. Give them that vibe that because you're quiet, you're not working on nothing. Because you're quiet, you're not doing anything. And then pop out. That's the way to gatekeep. And then you open the gate when you're ready. You'll open the floodgates on them. And they're going to see you shine and prosper and thrive. And they're going to know that in your quiet season, all you was doing was gatekeeping until it was time to release, and you ain't letting up. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed all that I shared. Definitely, definitely, definitely don't be afraid to be in a shell for a little bit until it's time to awaken and rise to your highest possible life, self, everything. You have all that it takes within you to really actualize your dreams and let your creative work be the gate for you, the gateway to your destiny. So it's your girl Taisha P signing out. Later, y'all.